guys, welcome back. Today I thought it'd be fun to investigate a claim that sounds too good to be true, entirely too good to be true. So I was looking on the Sephora website at some brand new makeup that's come in, and Westman Atelier had a matte hydrating lipstick. I don't know, those two things just don't go together in my brain. I'm like, matte yet hydrating. No, that's not how that works. But we'll see. So I found two other lipsticks that claim to be the same kind of deal that are fairly new. And then I looked through lipsticks I already had and I found two that also make similar claims. I don't know if the Bobbi Brown one necessarily claims to be hydrating, but it certainly claims to be comfortable all day for 10 hours. And I have used it, and the consistency is an interesting kind of powdery hydrating. Like it is kind of a weird one. So let's get into it, and let's start off with the one that set me on this whole quest to begin with. So we'll start off with the Westman Atelier Suède matte lipstick. So the case is a little interesting. There's a little mirror inside the cap so you can apply on the go. It's super tiny. I don't know how practical it really is to have a mirror in here, but it's improvement over nothing. It's not as good as your cell phone. So I'm sure we all know you hold the cell phone, put it in selfie mode, and you can do your makeup. So anyway, it's kind of cool. Like it just looks kind of velvety, you know, those lipstick formulas that are kind of powdery. I remember there was a moment, I feel like there were some Korean brands that specialized in these like powder lipsticks, but it's super cute. Like there's little hearts all over it. I picked out for the new ones to my collection some nice everyday shades, and I figure if there's a winner, if there's one in here that's super comfortable, maybe I'll pick up like a nice fiery holiday red, because let's be honest, matte lipsticks do tend to last a little longer. And when you're doing like a holiday party look and you've got like glitter all over your eyes and you're a little more highlighted, sometimes you do kind of need a matte lipstick to balance things out. So let's hope for the best and see what this suede lipstick is like. That's super smooth. So on first impression, just feeling it go on, yeah, it feels more like a satin lipstick for sure. If we're being honest, it's not super matte either, so it's kind of a nice middle ground. So that does feel nice and hydrating. So this has hyaluronic acid in it, you know, the darling hydration ingredient of the last few years. This does feel really nice. Sometimes when you put on matte lipsticks, it takes a minute for it to kind of dry down. That doesn't really feel like what this is gonna do. It's not quite a satin finish, but it's not super matte either. But it would, if I had like a super glittery eye look, it would still balance things out. So this, all right, this is a strong start. And as someone who's kind of over matte lipsticks, I'm happy to report it's not super matte. And it does feel really nice. So they had a holiday gift set where you can get 3 colors. You don't get to pick out your own colors. There's 3. This is actually one of the colors. I think it's Rêve. Yeah, that's the shade I got. And this is one of the 3. But you don't save anything in the gift set. You just get 3 lipsticks for the price of 3 lipsticks, but you don't pick out the colors. So I don't know if I necessarily recommend the gift set of this, but that is a really pretty color and it is super comfortable. All right, let's move on to the next shade. The next one is from Valentino. They have a new lipstick, matte lipstick that's come out. Okay, and before we move on, I will admit to something. The only thing that kind of gets me through those matte lipstick days, or honestly any day, I have fallen in love with the Inkey Lists lip balm. Their triple peptide lip balm. This is so good. Just a tiny bit of it, it just really helps with hydration. I don't know how plumping it is, except instead of your lips looking super dry and sad, they're not so dry, so they look, I don't know, not like plump, but they just look smoother. I don't know, so they help them look better, they feel a lot better. So yeah, we're gonna be going in with a little of this after each one. I'll spare you those details, but I just wanted to let you guys know. in love with this stuff in the Inkey list. So this next lipstick is also fairly new to the market and from Valentino. I know I've kind of dissed him in the past for having really cheap packaging. This is nice. Like you'd expect something nice. It's got like the spiky, it's metal, it just has a good feel to it. And I like a nice slim lipstick dispenser. I don't know, I feel like it just looks a little sleeker, it's a little easier to put on. But here we have their entry into the matte yet hydrating lipstick market, which is apparently a thing now. So this is the shade Spike Oppose. I'm easily entertained, but that's pretty funny. Ooh, it even has the little Valentino logo on the very like front of the lipstick. I didn't even notice that till just now. I just wanted to show because it's gonna get ruined in a second. It's like the little details. Like I know these things are usually a little more expensive than normal lipstick, but there are fun little details like that. So this one has more of a scent. It looks a lot more matte. Still feels creamy. This is not as creamy as the Westman Atelier one. That definitely looks matte. Like not soul-sucking matte, but definitely matte. And we went a little ham. We went a little outside the lines, but that's okay. So it doesn't have quite the same feel as the Westman Atelier, where it was more like a powder to cream kind of consistency. This just feels more like a regular lipstick that you'd pick up, but it doesn't look like it. It actually looks really matte. It's a similar color too, so it's another nice kind of everyday, your lips bit better sort of shade. All right, maybe this isn't a complete lie. Maybe these people have done a lot of research and they've actually released something matte but hydrating. My mind is being blown right now. The next entrance into a contest they had no idea they were entering is Charlotte Tilbury with her Matte Revolution Luminous Matte Lipstick. All words that don't feel like they should be anywhere near each other in a sentence, but here we are. It's her, classic compact with the rose gold, that very stylized look. So we have Secret Salma as the shade. I think this is Hot Lips collection of shade names. Anyway, there's a matte version and then a satin version of all these different shades. So we have the matte version. I tried to get colors that were all very similar, the kind of shade that I'd wear on an everyday sort of basis. So let's try out a luminous matte lipstick. And it feels extremely balmy, like you're not getting a ton. Like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of product, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if it's the color or if it really is more of a sheer. So I don't know how this is a luminous matte instead of a satin finish. Like it really feels more satin. It's pretty. Feels nice and hydrating. Yeah, I definitely like it. I just don't know if I'd call it anything resembling matte. It's definitely more of a satin. Very nice finish. I definitely didn't get the wrong one. The package definitely says Matte Revolution. So I'm like double checking it right now. I mean, it isn't too over the top with the shine. I mean, I did have a little bit of the lip balm underneath it, but I did for the other two as well. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's matte, but I might have a new favorite everyday color because I love this color. But yeah, anyway, hydrating, more of a satin finish, very pretty, but if you're looking for matte, looks like the Valentino is the most matte that we've seen so far. Next up, we're going to be looking at a Prada lipstick in their matte. I think they do the same thing where they have the same color in a matte finish and then in a satin finish. So we'll be checking out the matte one. All right, next up we have the Prada lipstick. This is their matte finish. So we have the shade Sienne 102. And then I think it's B102 because this is the matte shade. I've used this before and I really do like it, so a bit of a spoiler there, but I can't remember exactly how matte it looks. And after that Charlotte Tilbury, I'm a little suspicious now. actually fairly matte in terms of how it looks. It's not as matte as the Valentino, and definitely has the most scent out of any of the lipsticks so far. A very pleasant scent though, like lightly sort of floral perfume. Really pretty smell. Yeah, it's fairly matte without like going too overboard. It doesn't feel as hydrating. It didn't claim to be super hydrating, just comfortable, which I certainly agree. It's definitely very comfortable matte finish. Like the thicker kind of creamy, more like an original lipstick feel, but you do get the matte finish, which is nice. And because I have had this one for a while, I have worn it and used it, and it does wear nicely, especially with this color on myself. You know what I mean? Like if you have a color that's a little closer to your lip color, as it fades generally very nicely. So that's pretty. It is definitely one of the more matte ones that we've looked at today. So this one is rating pretty highly. All right, last up we have Bobbi Brown. This is the Luxe Matte Lipstick. I did pick this up last year, so it's the shade On Fire. I didn't see that they still had this shade, but they do have similar red shades. When I did this whole not entirely too long, but it was long. It was a lot of lipsticks. You know, we're looking a little rough after just, this will be my 5th. But yeah, there were like 12 or 14 lipsticks that day. And this ended up being one of my favorites, actually, so I was surprised. And it does have the same sort of powder to cream consistency when you put it on, so I just wanted to bring it in here and see how it compares to the other matte lipsticks. The way it goes on, you do want to use a lip liner, just kind of in the interest of time, and we're looking more at the hydration level and the matteness of the lipsticks. We're not worried about a lip liner, but I will say, as much as I like this color, you're going to want a lip liner. Especially with it being a red, it's a little hard to do without a lip liner, so we got a little messy. But in terms of the feel, so for this one, you definitely get that kind of powder sensation, but it doesn't turn quite as creamy. So I'll say it's a nice matte finish, like it has a good level, like it isn't super mattified, like still the Valentino's winning that by far. But I don't know if it's quite as luminous as satin, but it's, I don't know, you're kind of pushing the boundary of matte here, like it's only kind of in that territory. But it feels really good, wears really well, it's a beautiful color, so I do like this lipstick a lot. But I don't know if I would say it's like truly hydrating matte. Kind of feel like of all of these different entries, of all these different ones, I'm kind of torn between the Valentino and the Westman Atelier. So that first one we tried, definitely the most comfortable by far. It was more matte than this, so I think in terms of being the most hydrating, comfortable, I mean, they delivered on that promise. It felt very hydrating and still looked matte. Whereas the Valentino, you really got that matte effect and that matte look with it still feeling quite comfortable. So if that's what you're looking for, I definitely would say the Spike Valentino, yes, Spike Valentino lipstick is going to get you the most matte comfort bang for your buck. But if you're looking for something that is still, it's matte, but it's like really hydrating, man, that Westman Atelier did feel really good. The Charlotte Tilbury, I don't feel like that was matte, like at all, but it was beautiful and I loved it, so there is that. But if you're looking for matte for the holiday season, I'd definitely go with one of those first two. So please, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, had a little bit of fun, give this a thumbs up. If there's anything I missed where you have a favorite matte lipstick that is still hydrating, please let us know in the comments, you know, help the other ladies out, and maybe I'll try that in the future. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.